What is going on, YouTube and Spotify? This is the Just BSN podcast. And today, my friends, we have a special, fun episode as we get a nice reaction just 24 hours after the trade deadline happened yesterday with baseball. And the Cleveland Guardians not only made one, they made several really good moves that actually put them in a much better spot than they started this week, really. So we will get you the full reaction there. We'll go over all of the details, all of the people that are coming in, all the guys that are going out, so on and so forth. But before we do that, Andrew, first of all, how are we doing, man? How are we feeling after the news? Because it was kind of like bang, bang, bang. Like it went from 0 to 100 really, really fast within, I don't know, 2 or 3 hour span. The Guardians were just going, going, going.
Well, I think they realize, and I feel pretty good about what they've done because I think they finally realized, like, hey, we're still very competitive in this division. We're only a 2.5 back of Chicago. We also, I think we hold the third place wild card spot. So now it's now or never. And with the imminent lockout potentially happening next year, this is a team that can compete. You have a top 5 bullpen, a top 5 starting rotation. This is a team that can compete.
Yeah.
And so you just needed, again, like we said all season long, you need a couple hitters. You got that in Nathaniel Lowe and Joe Adell. You need maybe another, whether it was a bullpen piece or a starting pitcher. You got that with
You got both, actually.
Yeah, you got both because you got Foster Griffin, who was an all-star this year, who is 12-3 with barely a 3.05 ERA, which is, again, massive. Yeah. And then you slot Slade Ciccone in the bullpen. And don't get me wrong, Slade Ciccone is a decent starting pitcher. But I think once you get to him through the second time around to start the third time around in the order, he starts to get hit hard and hit very so. But when he's facing guys for the first time, he's striking people out. He's getting them going. So I think he's better suited for the bullpen.
I do too.
Or even like what we had Pedro Vila do a couple years ago and be like that long reliever where he can go like 2 innings or something, maybe 3 innings, and give you that elongated. What you were missing from the last couple of years was that long reliever instead of relying on trying to bring in Gaddis too soon or Festa too soon or these other guys too soon. You could bring on Ciccone for 2 innings or an inning and a half and let him go.
Or he can even just be the starter in like a bullpen
game,
where it's like a doubleheader, or you just you just need the the arms. It's a nice thing to have, and you had that again with like guys like Cantillo last year. So for him to kind of fill his role, like with his velo and stuff, like Ciccone can be really good in the bullpen. And when we traded for him, he started in the bullpen. So when we got him, he transitioned back into a starter. So if that ends up working out in our favor of him going to the bullpen, I think that just adds more depth that we desperately needed there. But then you also got the guy that you what the heck is his name? The guy that we got from was it Milwaukee, or what was the first move we made? I totally forget what his name was.
Craig Yoho.
Yes, Yoho. I knew it was something stupid, but he pitched a game for us and pitched great in the inning or two. I think he might have almost went 2 full innings in that game.
Pitched very well.
So again, you brought him in first off. You got another bat that he sucked. So you're really not going to see Perkins or whatever the heck his name was.
Blake Perkins.
You probably won't see him. He's going to be down in Columbus. Unless barring any crazy injuries or anything like that. And after that move, like I think everybody was like, oh, here we go. Like typical Guardians, like this is what it's going to be. And even I was in that boat. And I'm sure you were too. Sorry, my eye keeps itching like crazy. My allergies been nuts today. I feel like all of us started going back into that and just started getting triggered. Like, oh, here we go. This freaking team is just the same over and over. And then they shocked us, dude. They shocked us with a couple great moves. So before we get into all of the moves, Andrew, why don't we go ahead and take this over to you to go ahead and shout out the boys at Effortless freaking wins.
Yeah, guys, check out the sponsor, Effortless Wins, for sports betting advice and plays to boost your wins. Talk to Tony or Greg. The links will be in the description of Spotify and the comments on YouTube. Code JustPSN26 for a discount. Guys, Greg has been reposting our podcast on Instagram and Snapchat and whatnot. So if you haven't already, make sure you guys go follow him on his socials. That way you can get the link from him, the link from us, wherever you need to get it from. Go get it. Go find Greg. We could even start linking his Instagram down in the descriptions and stuff like that. So that way guys can go find him. You guys can go talk to him, check him out, get the links from him, because this man is going berserk. This man is great with baseball plays, and he's starting to come up with some NFL packages for you guys as well. So if you guys want to dive into NFL season with him, now is the time to do so. Get ready for NFL season. Preseason starts in 2 days with the Hall of Fame game starting on Thursday. We're recording this on Tuesday. So, guys, be sure you guys go talk to Tony or Greg and get yourself some effortless money with Effortless Wins.
I see what you did there. Yeah, I mean, look, you do got to put a little bit of effort into it. Let's be honest, okay?
Yeah, you do.
But they make it easier on you guys. They really give you the scoop. They really give you the game, because it is a game. Like, this is all playing a game here, and you need to know how to play the game in order to really win some money. So be sure to check the guys out. They are awesome. I might need an eye patch with how bad my eye keeps.
I was gonna say your eyes go crazy.
So bad. I don't know what just happened. It went from 0 to 100 so quickly, but it's fine. It is what it is. We will be good. But yeah, thank you to the boys at Effortless Wins. So, Andrew, let's go over these moves, man. Actually, I had it up, and then I think I actually got off Twitter. So, but we'll start with the first one, which was Joe Adell. Got him from the Angels. Let's go over the actual details here, which I'll pull up here in just a second. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm not prepared for anything. Okay, so really all it was him for Juan Brito and Jacob Cozart, I think, was the other guy that was in that deal, which I don't really know Cozart personally. I don't know what level he was in. We've heard of Juan Brito. He's been a guy that's been flirted about for, I would say, the last 2 seasons now, where he was a guy that could have played shorter, even second base for us prior to the Bazana, and then prior to, Brian Rocchio being what they are right now. And although Rocchio is slowing down a little bit in his hitting, he's still pretty good in the field, much better than he was at the start of last year. And so he just never really caught on. He was dealing with injuries, and then when he would come up, he wasn't really hitting the ball well. It was a rough time with him. So they moved him down off the 40-man roster. I think they DFA'd him, and then immediately they basically traded him. So it was kind of like a move that just happened within a move. And so that was the first one. And you bring in Joe Adell, and guys, he comes in and he currently leads the ball club in home runs. Granted, that's not a whole lot to be saying because the Guardians have been not hitting home runs as much this year. But he comes in with 16 home runs, 16 doubles, 62 ribbies, 111 games played this year. He's robbed a couple homers. He's going to play a lot of right field for you, which could have a little bit of an impact on CDL, although I think that just puts him more in a DH spot. But you bring a guy in who can hit the ball. He's a righty. He's exactly what we've been saying. Hey, we need a big right-handed, bat. And if he also plays outfield, that's even better. You got that. Yeah. You literally immediately started out like, okay, that's a good deal. That's a great start. Now what else can you do? But what was your reaction? Because I didn't know much about this guy prior to this. In fact, a lot of these guys, I'm not going to lie, didn't know a lot about. I had to be like, Sean, who is this? Like, is this good, bad? What is this? What was your first reaction when the news dropped that we got him?
Yeah, so like Sean, I know a lot about these guys. So Joe Adell spent pretty much his whole career in the Angels organization, and he's just a good defensive outfielder and a good hitter. So I like what I see from Joe Adell. He's actually been a guy that I've been wanting for the last 2 seasons, just because he was a guy that would bolster our outfield. You know, when we got Lane Thomas 2 seasons ago, I was one who said we could go get Lane Thomas, we can go get Joe Adell from the Angels, you know, and we end up going and get Lane Thomas. But I was like, I said Joe Adell's name a couple times in that regard before Lane Thomas. So I've been wanting him for the last couple of seasons. We got him. This guy adds a lot of pop to the bat. You know, like you said, he leads the team in home runs. He leads the team in ribbies. He leads the team in, I think, in hits as well. He leads the team in a lot of our batting categories now. So getting him, and, you know, you said you put Chase DeLauder at the DH, which I kind of like. It's not that Chase is a good defensively. Chase is a good defensive outfielder, but this keeps Chase off of the injury reserve.
Yes.
So I like that's the one thing. That's the one thing I like, is that it keeps Chase DeLauder off of injury reserve, because now all he has to do is just worry about hitting the baseball. And who knows, maybe it'd be better for him to focus on just hitting, because again, Chase DeLauder is one of your better hitters on the roster.
Rookie of the month too, because of his hitting.
Yeah, rookie of the month because of his hitting. So Chase DeLauder gets to go into a place where he's more comfortable, and that's batting. You move Joe Adell, who's a good defensive outfielder, and to an outfield that's full of good defenders. You know, Steven Kwan and Angel Martinez are also great defenders. Same with Petey Halpin. Petey Halpin's a great center fielder. So you put him in a great outfield, and that outfield is now complete. You have a guy who can hit the ball, hit for power. And now when you finally have guys on base, you have a guy who can actually hit the ball deep enough to get them home. So this adds a lot of value to the Guardians on the offensive side, more so than the defensive side.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a great start of like, okay, here we go. You know, let's see if they ramp it up, because, you know, sometimes the Guardians make a move like that, and then that's the only thing that they really do. Or they go and get like a, you know, a Steven, what the heck is his name? The pitcher that we got last year, Steven. The guy that Sean really, really likes. He's like a mini Shane Bieber.
Yeah, Cal Steven.
Get guys like that. Like that's what the Guardians really do. And then they come out of left field and they go after an all-star starting pitcher and Foster Griffin from the Washington Nationals. And they only give up Will Dion, Josh Hartle, Douglas Verges, and Nick Mitchell. You know, besides Hartle, that was the only guy that I knew on that list there. Everybody else, I was like, who? Prospects? Okay, cool. Bye. I feel like you gave up nothing and you got an all-star pitcher that's 12-3 on the season with, like, I think he has around like a 3 ERA. Just a really, really solid pitcher. Gives you more depth. Kind of gets Slade Coney now out of that role, and now he can be that reliever and have him really do what I think he does best, which is pitch 1 or 2 good innings of just having solid velo and everything like that. And now you can insert a guy like Foster Griffin, who can literally be a top 3 guy for your starting lineup and throughout the season and into playoffs. Like, all you got to do is make playoffs, and you're going to have a really good starting rotation now. And this was something that we didn't really know where it was going to go with how young it was. You know, besides Bybee, you know, you're like, what version of Gavin are we going to get? We didn't know Parker Messick and what he was really capable of. We saw him like a couple times last year, but we didn't really understand he was going to be an all-star. And then you have Cantillo, who's been fantastic this year as well. Now you bring in Foster Griffin, an all-star this year, playing some really, really good ball. That I think is when I was like, okay, the Guardians are serious. You know, they saw what the White Sox did, but they also saw the Tigers turned over. They said, all right, we're done. They trade Tarek Skubal. I think they traded another pitcher too somewhere else.
Yeah, they did traded Casey Mize.
Yeah, Mize, yes.
And I forget where Casey Mize went to, but
I can't remember.
I want to say it was like something like Tampa Bay or something, but I can't remember exactly where he went. But I will say this: Foster Griffin, you already mentioned All-Star. Dude played the last 3 seasons. This is this dude's first season back in the MLB after playing 3 years in the Japanese league. Like, think about that for a second. He played the last 3 years in the Japanese league, comes back to the MLB, and is an immediate All-Star. that dude, I don't know what he did, but he developed something in Japan because he came back really, really good. And he came back an all-star in the Guardian. He said, yep, yoink, we'll take that from you.
Yeah.
And they, like you said, they gave up Will Dion. Will Dion, we all know him. He came up and down all season this season. Obviously, he pitched like 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So, Will Dion was in the bullpen. He was up and down. Whether we needed to make a move on the roster, it was usually him that was up or down, or Ali Iman, or Daniel Espino. So Will Dion, decent pitcher, decent bullpen guy. Just wasn't cutting it out in Cleveland. And again, just wasn't no opportunities for him up here. So right. I could see him thriving in Washington. Josh Hartle, again, he's a guy who was a starter down in Akron. Again, a very decent pitcher. I think he could have a good career in Washington. I watched him actually down in Akron earlier this season. Did very well. So I like the look of Josh Hartle.
Yeah, he was a part of a trade too, wasn't he? Like last year or the year before that from Pittsburgh?
I think we got him from Pittsburgh when we traded Spencer Horwitz, because we remember we traded Jimenez for Spencer Horwitz from Toronto, and then we immediately traded Horwitz for that's when we traded for Luis Ortiz.
Oh yeah, that is right. Yep.
So
yep, good memory. Yep.
3 concussions. I still have a good memory.
Right.
Somehow.
I don't know how many I've had. They've probably been undiagnosed.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. There's probably still more undiagnosed there. But
right.
But yeah, and then when it comes to Ken Douglas Vergez, I don't know too much about him. Same with Nick Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Nick Mitchell we drafted a couple of years ago. But again, a lot of these guys, they had no real path, and they were just more so solid pieces that we've had in the organization for a while. So it's good that they're able to go somewhere where they can get opportunities. But you bring in an all-star level pitcher that goes into a rotation where Tanner Bybee has been exceptional, and these last, in the last month, he's been really, really good, back to almost his old self again. And then you get Gavin Williams, who basically was an all-star level, just didn't make the all-star team, but what is definitely up there. And Gavin Williams has averaged 10 strikeouts in the last 3-4 starts.
He's been incredible.
He's been unbelievable. Joey Cantillo, who really made a jump this year, who people didn't expect to make this kind of jump. Parker Messick, who's a rookie, who is an all-star level pitcher already as a rookie, and your best in the rotation with like a 2.70 ERA. Like, this kid's been electric and elite. So you add this guy to a rotation that's been nothing but amazing. And then again, we go back to the Joe Adell trade. These pitchers would pitch really, really well, but they get no run support, only get 1 or 2 runs a game. And now you get Joe Adell, who could help score runs. You get Foster Griffin, who could help keep leads and could keep you in the ball game and pitch very well. Yeah. And then obviously we got the next guy coming up, which I'll let you introduce.
Which the next guy, there was one final one, almost pretty much at the buzzer. The Guardians came out of left field and traded for Nathaniel Lowe out of Cincinnati, who is a first baseman / DH, which is honestly was a position of need very much with how much we've been struggling at first base. Manzo obviously has been in a little bit of a slump. He's getting better, and I think with this move, it's going to help him now because of the next thing that I am going to say here in a minute. But you really only gave up Rivera. It says that Juan Brito was a part of that deal. I don't know if he actually
we traded we traded him to the Reds for cash considerations.
Okay. So yeah, Juan Brito gone, and then Aliana Rivera, who was a pitcher. I mean, I've heard of him, but I know he hasn't really gotten to actually get time up here at all. Really at all. So again, I feel like you really didn't give up that much, and you got a first baseman who's hitting 260. Who can hit the ball really, really well. He's got some more pop. And I believe he's a lefty, so he still gives you a chance to have, a lefty at first base. And then when you want to bring Hoskins in, I'm pretty sure he's a righty, isn't he? Isn't Hoskins a righty?
Yeah, right. Reese Hoskins is a right-handed batter.
So there you go. You perfect. And Hawkins has some pop. He just hasn't been consistent enough. But now you have Lowe coming in there and kind of balancing it out with how Manzo was playing. This is another really, really good deal and a really good way to close out because Nathaniel Lowe has been a really solid player for the Reds for quite some time now. So this just stretches everything. He is not in the starting lineup today, but I know Adele is. And Reese Haas is playing first. And then Cantillo is on the mound. So what that did is then finally did something that I think we have been both speaking about heavily doing for the last, I feel like it's been a month or two now that we've been saying the same guy getting optioned is David Fry. David Fry finally goes down to Columbus. It also brings down Kyle Manzardo. I know for some people this may be somewhat discouraging, but I think this is going to help him because it helped Rocchio last year. Roque went through the same thing earlier in the season than what Manzardo is going to be, but it gives Manzardo a chance to continue working on his swing, continue to work on his bat and first base. It gives him more reps to say, hey, continue to work. You are not done here. Like, I don't think he is a bad player. I think he's just been in a rough stench. And I don't think we have the greatest hitting coaches, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think we've always been weak on that. Even though I think the guy that we have came from Columbus like a year or two ago. It seems like every time we have a decent hitting coach, they leave or they come up and they just start to suck. I don't understand what the Guardians are doing because it happened under Terry Francona. Now it's happening under Vogt. So I don't know what the deal is there with that. But along with that, too, you also option Ailman, and then you put Sean Armstrong on the 60-day DL. And then that's the moves. Like, that's all that the Guardians made. But, dude, overall, the Guards got a haul. And it's very encouraging to see them see what the White Sox did going out and getting some pitching that they desperately needed to really, iron out that starting rotation because they're ahead in the ALC or the AL Central right now, but the Guards are still there. And as I said before, you saw the Tigers basically lay down and commit to, whatever this is. It's like, okay, it's basically down to us or the White Sox. And I think we could beat the White Sox. I don't think they're this like truly extravagant team. They're a fun team to watch, and they're a really good story, especially considering the last few years that they had prior, where they were arguably one of, if not the worst teams in baseball at one point, just 2 or 3 years ago. I think they had the worst record almost ever. I think it was something like absolutely gross. I think they won like 40 or like 50 something games. It was something just terrible. And so they're a great story, but the Guards have always been right at the AL Central. And with the AL in general being so freaking wide open, like even with Boston being how good they've been, other than them, like you haven't really seen a team that usually is there. Like, for instance, the Yankees, even though they made some moves, still doesn't seem like it's going to really get them over the hump. And it might, but I just don't feel like they're the same Yankees that they once were. They don't feel as dominant. They don't feel as intimidating as they were a few years ago when we played them in the playoffs, where it was like, man, like the Yankees just got bats, man, and they just got pitching, and they got everything. You don't feel that. So the AL is wide open for them. So even if they go through the AL and then they go face the Dodgers and they get that ass whooped, at least you made it. At least you did something before this lockout, because then it tells you, okay, at least we are going to be good once this lockout is over. Because let me tell you something, guys, this lockout is going to be brutal. Anybody that doesn't believe that is in for a rude awakening. This lockout is going to be brutal, especially after the Dodgers got Tarek Skubal. I mean, for basically nothing. I mean, yeah, they gave up some decent prospects, but prospects are never a guaranteed hit. And I just don't know if the Dodgers prospects, I guess, are as good as they should be because of how many trades they make. Like, all of their guys that they have are guys that have been in the league for years and have been well documented to be good. And these guys are going just because they know the money's there. They know the TV deal is going to help them, and they know. Again, I almost don't blame the Dodgers because they're taking advantage of every little loophole that they have available to them to make this work. And they're a big market. Everything is going in their favor. I mean, I hate the fact that they are able to do this, but I can't say that I blame ownership for saying, hey, if I have a chance to go get the best pitchers in baseball, or I have the best ability to go get the best hitting in baseball, you do it. And you do it because you want to win. You want to be dominant. I can't be mad at that part of it.
No, and to kind of go off of that, when it comes to Tarek Skubal, I know he said the other day that I don't know why everyone's blaming the Dodgers. Anyone could have came and got me. But here's the thing. It's the long-term contract. Because what if, say he's going to stay with the Dodgers long-term. But here's what everyone doesn't get. The Dodgers are a team who are going to offer him 10 years, $450, $500 million. Other teams cannot do that because they do not have the type of TV deal and other stuff that the Dodgers get. The Dodgers have a 25-year, $600 million deal where they get $300 annually from. $350 annually from. The Guardians, let's put the Guardians in this. The Guardians TV deal is only $50 million. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't get much. So if we want a Skubal, is Skubal really going to take 7 years, $50 million? No, he's not going to take that. He won't take it at all. So yeah, you could say any team could have got me. Yeah, the Guardians had the prospects to go get you. They just don't have the money to retain you.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And that's what people don't understand. That's what Dodgers fans don't get. It's not that teams can't go and get them. Teams can go and we can go get Shohei Ohtani if we wanted to. We got the prospects.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the money to pay him long term.
It's like the same. Yeah. It's the same philosophy. It's the same exact philosophy. Sorry to cut you off. I didn't mean
no, you're good.
The same philosophy is like, I was like, dude, go get Mike Trout. The Angels suck. Yeah. Now, obviously, they got somebody else from the Angels, and I was really when I saw the Guardians acquire, so and so from the Angels, I was like, huh? Like, oh, okay, that's the other guy, but that's fine. It wasn't the worst thing, but I was like, you technically have the ability to. It's just you don't really have the cash flow. I mean, you don't really have the cash flow support from the Dolans because they're so bankrupt from all the loans and stuff that they've had to take out on this stupid team. Then I think like we would be in a lot better of a spot, and Blitzer is going to help that, thankfully. But this is at least encouraging, and whether the Dolans had anything to do with what happened yesterday or not is beyond me. What I can say is if Antonetti was the one leading the charge, thank you for again proving that you are actually the one that we are supposed to trust, and the one that's going to survive coming into Blitzer. Because as soon as Blitzer takes over, guys, there's going to be some changes, and I can't say who exactly, but there is going to be some changes from what we understand. I'm just not willing to spill too many of the beans on that.
No, me neither.
But the point is, Blitzer is going to make some changes when he comes in. Yeah. And I think making moves like this helps him be like, okay, like I got some more stuff to work with. Like this is great. And that's all that Guardians fans have been asking for. We haven't been asking for going out and getting Mike Trout or a Shohei Ohtani, or even a Tarek Skubal, even though technically you probably could have tried it for Skubal because I think Skubal actually messed with Cleveland. I think he liked it here. I think he likes the fans and at least appreciates it.
He did say that the best playoff atmosphere was Cleveland.
I mean, it is. I mean, look, if you have, nothing will ever top the Lindor home run. And I think that was 2017 against the Yankees where he hit that grand slam, that Santa Maria. That is, I actually think it was the loudest a stadium has been during that time. I don't know if it's ever, but it was one of the loudest decibels that has ever been recorded in a stadium.
Yeah, the Lindor grand slam against the Yankees.
Yes.
Yeah, that was insanity. But yeah, before we go, I want to speak a little bit on Nathaniel Lowe. Before we jump off the rails and before we jump off of here. But Nathaniel Lowe comes in as your first baseman. You mentioned Fry and Manzardo going down to Columbus, which, speaking of the lockout, is great for Manzardo and David Fry because obviously they have multiple options. They could stay in Columbus because the CBA for minor leagues is different from the CBA of the MLB. The minor leagues will still continue. So guys like David Fry and Manzardo would still be playing in the minor leagues every single day while the MLB is on its current lockout.
Yeah.
So that helps a ton because Manzardo now gets a year and a half in the minors to really fix everything.
Yeah.
Same with David Fry. They have opportunities to fix everything and get back to MLB, ready and whatnot, and to be MLB powerhouses.
Yeah.
Because I think Nathaniel Lowe might be, because he just turned 31, he might be a small, quick rental. Depending on how he does, could get a little bit of a longer deal, depending if the Guardians want to keep Rhys Hoskins around. Because speaking of Rhys Hoskins, we got him because he came back from a massive injury where he missed all of last season. And Rhys Hoskins is typically a 30 home run hitter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like Rhys Hoskins is a bad hitter. Just, got him off of a massive injury like you did Matthew Boyd or Alex Cobb two seasons ago, where they missed entire seasons. So it's basically ultimately what's going to happen. Are they going to keep Nathaniel Lowe? Are they going to keep Rhys Hoskins? Are they going to bring up Manzo? Are they going to use Manzo as a trade piece? Or, there's so many questions up in the air. But Nathaniel Lowe may not be much of a home run hitter. Usually averages about 20 home runs a season. But he's a guy with an 800 OPS. Outside of Chase DeLauder, those are the only two on the team with 800 OPSs. So he's a good hitter. He hit the day before yesterday, and he had a 3-hit game with 2 doubles and a single.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes to what he can do, and he could do that all the time. So I liked the Nathaniel Lowe pick. I liked him when he was in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
He was very, very good. So I think the Guardians got a good haul. And lastly, I do want to say this. Shout out to MLB Network, who Jeff Passan, and I think the guy's name was Buster.
Yeah.
They did AL after the deadline. They did the top 5 teams in the American League. Passan had us at 5, and then Buster put us at number 1. I was like, whoa.
Yes, he did.
I was like, okay, so the boys, we're back. And so I'm excited to go see what happens tonight. Obviously, I won't be able to stay for the entirety of the game because got another podcast to do at 9:30 tonight. So, but I will be able to watch at least 6 or so innings, 7 innings. So basically the majority of the game, and kind of see how things turn out with at least Joe Adell, since Nathaniel Lowe's not playing tonight.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, again, I don't think I'll be able to go because we're talking to Emmett Golden tomorrow from ESPN Cleveland.
Nice.
But, it'd be nice to go and see these guys actually play and see what happens. And obviously, Zach, you're more than welcome to join me at any time. But I think the Guardians, at least among the AL Central, had one of the best deadlines.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
This will now make them really competitive. And I will give you one last disclaimer. Yes, Joe Adell's playing, but if he doesn't do well, he just got here. Okay, no need to get mad in 30 seconds of a guy getting here in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, he's batting like 240 right now, so it's not like he's like a 300+ hitter. Coming in, but he has that pop. He has exactly what you need, and. I mean, I personally think at home, at least, our field is a little bit shorter and it's a little bit easier to hit homers, especially the left. So I think it goes into his favor, and I think it's going to help him a lot. I just think at the end of the day, I'm just glad that the Guardians decided to commit to it instead of just kind of being like, oh, like we could just get there with who we got. Because at some point, you do have to admit, like, hey, we do need a little bit of help. We need some guys. And all we asked for was them to just try. And I think they did that. And I think you can commend them for that and say, okay, give it your best shot. Like, go see what you can do. Because this hasn't been the greatest season, but we saw what we did last year, being down 15 games to the Tigers and then coming back and doing it. It's possible. Like anything is literally possible with this team. And at this point, nothing ever really shocks me about the Guardians in the way that they end seasons, which is why I never really get too crazy about how they're doing until about this time, about August, is when you start seeing this team turn it around and really get locked in. And I think they're locked in. I think they are locked the heck in. And I am excited to see what they do with these new guys and how they mesh with the clubhouse. And it's going to be a great time. So Guardians fans, be a little bit excited now. Like, be happy that these guys didn't just kind of do
Flop
an average
over.
move. Like, they actually made some moves, which I think is what shocked everybody the most is, oh my gosh, they actually did something. Like, we didn't just like sit here and ask for them to do it. Like, I feel like the Cavs are doing what the Guardians usually do, where they're just like, we'll just, re-sign a player or two, and then, we'll just kind of go about our day. It's really the opposite here. And so shout out to the Guardians for being able to do that. And I'm excited. We'll see how Adele plays tonight, and then we'll see when Foster gets to pitch, which I'm sure will be at some point this week.
They said Thursday he's pitching.
Thursday? Awesome. And then I'm sure we'll see Lowe anytime this week as well. So, hey, man, let's enjoy it. Like, let's go have some fun.
For sure.
Let's go have some fun. That's pretty much all that we are going to have for you guys today. We're not really going to get into Browns because they're still just in the midst of practice. But I will say Shadur had like 25 throws today, or pass attempts. Deshaun Watson had 11. So that just goes to show you the differential right now and where that's leaning. Maybe that was just by design today, but from what I understood, Watson was getting the boo birds today for practice, which is not good. So things could rapidly change. We will see, but their first game is not until the 15th, so we have some more time for practices. But the Hall of Fame game is this Thursday. So we finally have football, so be excited about that as well. We finally do not have to go another week without any sort of football going. So praise God for that. Praise God for some football. We love it. Football, baseball, and then in a few more months, basketball will be back, and then sports will be live, and then we won't have to talk about just one thing in a show. We can talk about everything and have fun.
Absolutely.
And we also got fantasy that's going to be starting to come up here soon. I just had my spot locked in for my one fantasy league. And my keeper, I got Tyler Warren in the 10th round as my keeper. I thought that was insane value. Insane. So we'll see how this year goes. This is the one league that I have not gotten to win. I won our dynasty league. I won my work league last year that I'm not even in anymore because I don't work there anymore. I've won at least 2 other leagues prior. So I just need to win this one. This is the one that I need to win. This is my big one. So I'm gonna go all in on that. So we'll talk some fantasy as well as the weeks progress. But for now, this will be all that we have for you guys. Andrew, do you have anything else for the guys before we head off?
I do not. All I got is a go Guards.
Go Guards. They are locked in.
Yes, sir.
We'll see y'all next week.